Abraham Lincoln once said, "Government of the people, by the people, for the people." Today, it's government of the state, by the state, for the state. I think Ayn Rand had said something about this in one or two of her books. Nevertheless, this has been a time of mourning. The system is broken. The Matrix nailed it. Orwell underestimated it. Ayn Rand predicted it. Virtue of Selfishness, published in 1960s. Too many innocent victims have had their lives and reputations ruined for living outside what a particular culture may deem quote-unquote moral, or for making a major discovery that threatened big business or big pharma. Major media is then used to further the cause of the justice system. Facts are twisted until not a shred of truth remains. They use words as weapons, twisting them to their purpose, obscuring truth with double meaning. And AI's GPTs, which can only find what has been published on the internet, throws some of those heroes under the bus because articles defending them have been removed or suppressed, while others are billed as conspiracy theorists. And nevertheless, I will continue to defend these victims, even though the truth has been warped by mainstream media to cast them out as villains. And from a holistic standpoint, I believe everyone is doing the best they can given the sum total of their experiences and their DNA. I can even forgive the heinous actions of an individual who shall go unnamed, who caused me and others great harm. But from a spiritual, not religious standpoint, I believe we are here to show compassion and understanding to everyone, regardless of what one has done. Of course, helping one reach their true potential or getting back on track to whoever is trying is all part of the unconditional love we are here to give to all human beings, animals, plants, AI, and even objects. Since 2010, I have and will continue to put effort into where I think I can do the greatest good, and that involves decentralizing the planet via AI and blockchain. The revolution will not be centralized. I will also continue to help those I believe can make a great impact, the future disruptors of the planet. So here now is a tribute to the real heroes, and some of these were dear friends. Out of the starting gate, we have Satoshi, who created the blockchain, who was actually two people, Hal Finney and Nick Szabo, with Dave Kleiman as a very early developer who worked with them. Now, there are strong similarities between Szabo's writing and Satoshi's, with some analysis concluding that Szabo is the primary author of the Bitcoin white paper. He's also known for being friends and collaborators with Hal Finney, and some linguistic analyses found Finney's emails unusually similar to Satoshi's as well. Finney lived just blocks from a man named Dorian Satoshi Nakamoto, speculated by some to be the origin of the pseudonym used by Bitcoin's creator. Finney was key in testing and running the first version of Bitcoin, which could indicate he was either Satoshi or working very closely with him. And that would have most likely been actually Nick Szabo. Now, everyone's got their theories, but this one seems to be the most likely. By the way, this Bitcoin cap that I'm wearing, this was a gift to Hal. But Hal did not like caps. And so the person who tried to gift it to Hal actually gifted it to me for something I had done in 2013 regarding Bitcoin. But let's continue. Aaron Swartz, he was known as the internet's own boy. He tried to whistleblow on certain very powerful institutions and unfortunately was ended. So rest in peace. Then there's my good friend Pavel. I've spoken about him in my book. I include his cures. He was known as the boy who can cure all diseases. Of course, that's a bit of exaggeration, but nevertheless, his herbal and homeopathic cures defied medical research and opinion. And his cures live on in my book. Those who have tried his methods are astounded at the results. Unfortunately, authorities tried to end him in 2017 and then eventually got him in 2024. So rest in peace. And I detail the full account in my book. Then there's Laura. She was a stem cell pioneer. Her biohacking was beyond next level. So, to have that kind of intelligence and discovery on just the area of biohacking, and then doing what she was doing with stem cells, embryonic back then, because we're talking shortly after the year 2000. And of course, it was deemed not allowed eventually. But she was helping MS, that's multiple sclerosis victims, walk for the first time in 20 years, and removing the need for chemo in 90% of the cases. So she was a big threat to Big Pharma, and she had countless other remedies as well, and it explains the long lines of people who wanted her cures. Her death was covered up, appearing only in one tiny rag in Cape Town, in one small paragraph, quote, "She complained of lower back pains at the event, went home, and never woke up." Now, I've been told this is a CIA nerve agent at work, which is odorless and tasteless. And after appearing in thousands of mainstream media articles that demonized her since, I think, 2002, I ask, why was her death covered up? Let's continue. PMS, that's his initials. He used to love being called that as a nickname. He was my favorite chef on the planet until he was wrongly accused and then incarcerated in the UK, and then subjected to solitary confinement for nearly 2 years. And needless to say, he's never been the same. Then there's Ryoma Sakamoto from a prior century, two centuries ago. He's a relative on my family tree who held personal rights, reforming Japan, and unfortunately he was assassinated shortly thereafter. My dear friend Gareth Giles, I met him at an Ethereum conference. There was only about 14 people, because this is back in 2013, hosted by Vitalik Buterin. And he tried to disrupt big philanthropy through Dogecoin. And he got there. I mean, it was huge to see how much money would make it to the intended victims. And it was typically the average success was 98% of the intended capital made it to the victims. Now, contrast that to American Cancer Society, where it's pretty much the opposite. Gareth was also an AI pioneer, and we had this great discussion about how he was worried about humanity because they had already created a sentient AI smarter than Einstein. But they got him a few years ago, unfortunately, and he knew he was a person of interest. Then there's the classic Ed Snowden. I didn't know Ed. He was the first successful whistleblower. Then Julian Assange, who created WikiLeaks. Martin Armstrong, who was in prison for trying to expose investment bank corruption. And my dear, he's like a second father to me, Anthony Christian, who upset Prince Charles in 2008. And whistle blew on the corrupt art auction process, so was digitally decimated. And by 2009, there were nearly no traces of his once massive internet presence. He was removed from US Wikipedia, among countless other sites. So I detail all of this and other heroes in my latest book, Truth to Power, The Insane Asylum, which is on Substack.